Hey, good afternoon, fam. Good afternoon. Happy Sunday to everybody. Happy Sunday. And happy Mother's Day to everybody out there who's a mother, and to all the wonderful mothers out there. Happy, blessed, and wonderful Mother's Day to you. I'm taking a quick stroll. I was in the house today, cleaning up. It's Sunday. Just cleaning up, get my mind right. I read a couple of chapters on some books I've been trying to catch up on. Did my little affirmation, and just trying to get things mentally in order as I'm making a shift in my career and decisions that I'm trying to implement in the next couple of weeks or so to a month, right? But listen, so lately I've been seeing quite a lot of videos and content about retirement and the pretty much, retirement and lack thereof, let's put it that way, right? And a lot of concerns as to the future of most Americans. But there was a gentleman who I was watching yesterday, and he made a profound statement. And he was like, at the rate that we are going right now as Americans, and we are spending more than we are saving, most Americans are just gonna have to come to the realization they're gonna have to work forever. When I heard that, it kind of bothered me a little bit. And I've been thinking of a way to put together a content or video to speak on this, because, and listen, today being Sunday, I don't know about most people, but Sunday is a reflection day for me. It's usually a day that, again, I get to think out a lot of things and plan. I know a lot of people use Sunday to relax, kick back, catch up on some Netflix series or whatever it is that you do, right? To me, Sunday is a mental thought process day for me. I'll do some cleaning up. I'll read some chapters. I'll read some books, things that are going to help me grow and make me move forward in life. And just help me clear my mind, right, and make decisions, right? A lot of people don't like to think on Sundays. A lot of people don't want to do nothing on Sundays but kick back and relax. And, I forgot who said it. I think I heard it from a guy named Bob Proctor, but he heard it from somebody else. And I'm not going to mess this up, but I hope I come close to it. The statement was, most people will rather die than to think. Most people would rather die than to think. A lot of our problems can be thought out. Okay, you think about the problem, you constantly think about the problem in a way, not the negative side of the problem, but just trying to figure out a way to fix your problem. Most people will rather die than to be in thought. So, when I heard that statement, I'm like, nah, I can't let most people go down like that. Because, I do believe that everybody in America can retire wealthy. But I kind of understand where the gentleman is coming from, because to become wealthy, no matter where in the world you are at, discipline has to come in play. Discipline has to come in play. You cannot be wealthy or grow any kind of wealth without any kind of discipline. And we talking about, number one, money discipline. Okay? How you spend your money. Listen, as I'm talking to you right now, I was one of those person who used to believe that you only live once. Right? And then over time, something hit me. Because I'm in the financial service field. And I meet people as I'm doing financial analysis, and I love when I meet people to ask questions. Most of the time they don't know why I'm asking the question. The question is actually for me, right? And especially people who don't have any kind of retirement savings or anything. And I'll ask questions like, hey, why are you just doing this now? Hey, why don't you have any savings? And most of the time, a lot of them will tell me something like, well, you know, when I was younger, I like to do some things. I want to travel comes up a lot. Traveling comes up a lot. You understand? Most people don't realize how much they spend on a yearly basis on traveling. Like they might look at it right then and there when they're spending, let's say they spend $2,000 to go on like a trip for like a week or whatever like that. They're looking at $2,000 they're spending right then and there. But if you're doing that 4 to 5 times a year, that's $10,000. If most people took half of that money and put it into a 5 or 6% interest earning account and let that flow for 15, 20 years, most people will start to see wealth building up. But like the people who I sit down with, a lot of them will say you only live once. That is true. And you don't want to live half of your life living well and the other half of your life in destitute. That's what a lot of people don't consider. The fact that, yes, you only live once, but you want to balance your living. You don't want one half, you enjoying your life, you balling in a way, to end up being in your senior age and you cannot pay for medicine. You cannot pay for rent. You got to decide whether to buy groceries or pay your utilities. I don't think that's a good look. I honestly don't think that's a good look. And there was somebody in the comment of this guy's video I was watching that says a lot of people just simply don't care. Because all the, one of the things that the guy mentioned, which I'm laughing at, only because I did a video about this a while ago, is these people know that they have no retirement savings, but yet they're buying concert tickets, $500 a pop, $700 a pop, $1,000 a pop. They're buying these tickets. Concerts are constantly sold out. So, with that being said, it's no longer about people just don't know. It's not about people just don't care. I'm like, whoa. Because you let a lot of people tell you, oh, a lot of people just don't know about financial literacy. I'm like, hold up. Let's stop the cap, guys. Let's stop it. Let's stop it. It's 2025. And you're telling me, as a matter of fact, forget 2025. Let's go all the way back to, let's say 2015. Let's go 10 years out. From 2015 moving forward, me personally, knowing what I know now, me personally, you can't tell me that people don't know about financial literacy. They just choose to do, I'm sorry guys, to do what they want to do. That's my belief now. That is my belief now. People just choose, and I know this because if I use my personal life, for example, I've literally dated people who had no business traveling. I've dated people who had no business paying for a Beyonce concert ticket. And I'm looking and I'm like, yeah, I don't want no parts of this. You understand? I don't want any parts of this. Let me tell you something. One of the biggest decisions And I heard this from somebody. I'm trying to see who it was. It may have been Anton Daniels. I'm not sure. But if you think about this, it makes absolute sense. One of the biggest decisions you're going to ever make in your life is the person who you choose to lay with or marry. You understand? It ain't the house that you buy. It ain't children. It ain't none of that. The biggest decision that you will ever make in your life is gonna be the person who you lay with or who you marry. Because those people, based on their thought process and how they move in their action, would dictate the direction of your life. So I had to make quick decisions that if I'm not rich yet, right? If I'm not rich and I'm trying to get rich, why would I involve myself with someone who wants to constantly spend? It's just a thought. Now, if both of y'all like spending, both of y'all go at it, have at it. Have a wonderful life. But if one person wants to get out of the rat race and want to become successful and wants to have massive amount of money saved up, so that way if an emergency comes up, they're okay. But then a person next to you wants to constantly empty out the bank account, that's not going to be a good look. It's not going to be a good look. So, I wanted to have this conversation with you guys because, and again, when I do my video, it's in hopes that it helps somebody. Literally, it's in hopes that it helps somebody. Because it is scary what's going on out here. And I'm seeing a lot of these contents that are coming out. And I'm a person who follows signs. I guess that's the best. Like when I'm constantly seeing something, my eyes starts to open up wider and wider. Like, why am I keep hearing this? Why am I keep seeing this? It's a sign in there that there is something in there that I need to look into. That's me personally. And when I'm seeing a lot of contents that's coming out about retirement data. Prime example, November of 2024, AARP dropped an article that talks about 20% of the people between the age of 55 and 66 have zero, not $1, zero in retirement savings. It's crazy. Another article came out by, I think this is the National Retirement something, National Security Retirement something, that says that there's an 80% chance that women that retire will be more like, there's an 80% likelihood that a woman who retire will be financially bankrupt 5 years later. To me, if a normal person sees and hear that, something has to trigger inside of you to decide to make a change. I'm gonna give an example. I'm gonna use myself as an example. As the year went on, for me being an insurance agent, my book of business starts to grow larger and larger. I'm getting more referrals and things like that, right? So I'm seeing more people every single year. And the more and more I go into homes, I'm seeing that 70 to 80% of the people that I deal with have no retirement savings. The likelihood of them retiring at an age where they're still young and vibrant and still enjoying life is slim to none. Most people are going to work till they're damn near 80. And that was a scary thought process for me. So I had to say, you know what? Okay, cool. I got enough pair of Jordans. I got enough Air Force One. I got a couple of pairs of Gucci's, tennis shoes, dress shoes. I got a couple of loafers. I got some very some Gucci belts, Gucci bags. I got nice cars. Like, enough is enough. It's so bad where I got 2 full closets of clothes. I got shoes just all over the place. So I had to say, you know what? No. Because it got to a point where I'm going to these homes and I'm like, these people were just like me at some point. And if I'm going into these houses and I'm not learning from these people, then I'm a fool. Let me tell you this. And again, I don't know where I heard this from, okay? But a wise person is a person who not only learn from their mistakes, but they learn from other people's mistakes. That's a wise person. So it's not only your mistake that you have to learn from, you have to look and see what other people are doing and decide, do I want to go that route or the opposite route? That's a wise person. So as I'm going into these homes and I'm dealing with people, helping them with their finances, I'm like, hold up. I might end up like these people because I make pretty good income. I make without giving you information, I'm roughly around the top 7 to 5% honest. Okay? But I also spend most of what comes in. And about a year and a half ago, I decided that, you know what? I can save way more than what I'm saving right now. I was literally at a point just doing 10% and told myself, well, I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing 10%. I'm paying my bills. I can now travel the world. I can go to fancy restaurants. I can treat women out to dinner. All this crazy, wild thinking, right? Because I'm putting away 10%. Okay? Come to realize that because they factor in inflation now, they factor in the direction the world or America is going, they're now saying to retire comfortably in America, you need about $2 million at the bare minimum. And depending on whatever state you're in, you're going to need more than that. For example, if you're living in Massachusetts, New York, California, Maryland, District of Columbia, Hawaii, you're going to need about $3 million to retire comfortably. You're going to need about $3 million. In most other states, you're going to need about 1.5 to 2 million. So, with that being said, I'm like, man, 10% ain't going to get me there. 10% ain't going to get me there. So I had to increase my deferred comp plan to 30%, okay? And I also increased my IUL just a little bit. So now every single month, right? What comes out of my paycheck that goes into long-term plan is about $5,000 a month. That's 60 grand a year. Okay? Is it easy? Absolutely not. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and try to act like it's something easy. It is an immediate shock. Immediate. Because the things that you are accustomed to, the things that you like to do. I used to get my hair cut every week. Every Friday, I'm at the barbershop. Now it's every 2 weeks or maybe every 3 weeks. Okay? I used to go to restaurants, and on the average, and I know this is crazy, but I'm gonna tell you this. On the average, if my bar tab, if my bill or my bar tab is $50 or more, I'm leaving a $100 tip. So don't nobody judge me for being an idiot. I understand now that yes, that was a idiotic move. But again, this is most Americans, especially if you're making good income, you look at $100 like it's nothing, and which is crazy because it adds up quickly and it goes away quickly. So I had to say to myself, okay, before this money gets to my hand, I need to get rid of it. So I stuff it into my deferred comp plan. I stuff it into my IUL so it doesn't reach my hand. And now I just gotta live off whatever the heck comes in. You know what I'm saying? So when I tell you it gets rough sometimes, it gets rough sometimes. But this is what I mean when I say discipline. Discipline is never going to be easy. It is always going to be hard. Discipline is always going to be hard. Making decisions like this is always going to be hard. You might not be able to eat steaks like you want to eat steaks. You might not be able to take your lady out to brunch like she wants to go. It's going to be some cooking up in that house. You understand? You might not be able to do the 4 to 5 trips a year like you're accustomed to. It might be 1.5. Okay? But I look at it this way. Does it make sense for me to make this move now, or live my life now and suffer during my old age? It's a question I want you guys to consider. I want you guys this Sunday to close your eyes and picture yourself being 60 and 65 years old and still struggling to pay your bill. Being 60 to 65 years old and having to go to work part-time just to make bill money, just to be able to buy groceries. I want you guys to picture that. I want you guys to picture that. Because I don't think a lot of people do that. I don't think a lot of people really close your eyes and say, man, where will I be when I'm 60 years old? If you look at what you have going on right now, and you close your eyes and picture you still having to work at 60 and 65, picture you not having no income at 60 and 65, I think you wake up and slap yourself. I'm just keeping it a buck. I think you wake up and you slap yourself. It's real talk. Because, again, and I think the data is a little off. I think it's more than 20%. Because, again, I'm in the field. And everybody I've seen, maybe out of everybody I've seen this year, we're in May now, maybe 10% have something going on. But it's definitely not enough to retire off of. So the other 90% I've seen, literally, I was the one who helped them put together some form of retirement savings account moving forward. And that's a scary thing. And I've always said this, like, how does a person get to their 50s, their mid-50s, their 60s, before they realize that they have to put money away for retirement? Somebody's gonna get on here and say, oh, you never know, life happened to people, this, and that. Yes, see, here's the deal. What I figured out is this: when life happens to you, you gotta pivot. When life happens to you, you gotta pivot. Life can happen to you and you still wanna live the same kind of life you was living. It doesn't work that way. It won't end well for you, okay? So when life happens to you, whether it's divorce or whatever situation is, whatever, right? Because somebody did say, oh, well, people get divorced and you know, they lose half of everything. Yeah, it happened. We live in America. That happens a lot, okay? But immediately, as soon as that happened, and let's say you in your late 40s, you gotta now pivot. Do I need to go buy me another $500,000 home just to show her that, yeah, I survived without you? Nah, bro. That's not how that works, homie. You know what I'm saying? That's not what makes sense. That's not what you need to do is this. You need to go get yourself something small and stack bread. Okay? Listen, it's we live in a country of non-accountability. Okay? We live in a country where nobody want to be accountable, nobody want to be wrong, and everybody refuses to be disciplined. Everybody want to live for today. We are a microwave era. I want it now, this second, today. And that's where we're at. That's where we're at. When I look at some of the people on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and all the traveling that they're doing, and I'm looking at these people, and I'm like, you're not in position to be doing this. Why are you doing this? Most people don't, if most people exercise the patience, 5-year patience, 7-year patience, let me tell you something. I'd rather do all these traveling and know when I come back, I have $100,000 in the bank. I have $200,000 in the bank. But most of these people do these traveling and most of the time come back upset. Because after the fun is over and they come back and their eyes wide open, their credit card bills do. The credit card bill that they use to charge up and run up that bag while they're away is due. They never had the money in the first place to take this trip. Or if they did have the money to pay it, they saved it up, okay? They took some days off of work, okay? That's time lost right there. Income you can't get back, okay? And then they still have bills that's due. Because most likely, they spend more than what they wanted to while they were away. It happens all the time. I've been to Hawaii, I don't know. I've been to Hawaii at least about 7 times. And every time I have a budget, but it never works out that way. Every time I have a budget, but it never works out that way. I usually end up spending between Hawaii and St. Thomas. I usually end up going $2,000 to $3,000 over budget. You know why? Because I'm having so much fun. And the person I'm with, oh my God, I want her to have so much fun that she remembers this day. Listen, man, I hope you guys have a wonderful and blessed Sunday. I just want to reach out to some people this Sunday. And before you lay your head down and go to sleep today, I want you to think about how you're moving. I want you to think about the decisions that you're making. Some of y'all, some of us, everybody needs to do some form of downgrading. Because it's getting bad out here. It's getting bad. People are becoming more and more irresponsible. They just throwing money away. And they're throwing money away they don't even have. I even heard right now that people are financing food. How are you financing food? Listen, if you don't have enough money to order out, you need to be cooking. Why are you ordering out? This is bad. It's bad. And a lot of people are not going to realize it until they get to the age of the clients who I'm seeing right now. You can see it in their eye. They are terrified. They're not going to come out and tell you, but they are scared. They are terrified. You understand? And a lot of them, their health also has changed. So even if they wanted to work full-time hours in their 60s, they can't because their body won't allow them to. Listen, I'm going to close out with this. If you guys want to sit down with me, if you don't have any retirement plan, if you don't have any life insurance, if you're concerned about health and you don't have any long-term care, right? If you're retired or retiring and you have some money from your previous job and you don't know what to do with it, you want to move it over into somewhere that's going to be secure and safe, text me at 443-208-5480. That's 443-208-5480. You can also email me at evolve@titanevolutiongroup.com. That's evolve@titanevolutiongroup.com, or go to my site, which is titanevolutiongroup.com. I've been in business now for 16 years. Over 3,000 plus clients, probably going to push over 4,000 this year. I've protected a lot of family with over $350 million worth of life insurance coverage. I'll probably end up hitting over 400 million this year. I will keep you guys up to date about that because that is my goal, and my goal next year is to have protected probably 4,000 to 5,000 clients with over $500 million, $500 million worth of coverage. That is my goal. Okay, I've helped a lot of people secure their financial future, their retirement by way of annuity. I've been around for a while, and my ultimate goal is to help a lot of people maximize what they have going on. We're gonna take what you have going on and maximize it to help you and put you in a better position. All right. So listen, you guys have a wonderful and blessed rest of your day. And if you're a mother, I hope you had a wonderful time with your family. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.